Previously on the last Pokemon Crystal SuperMON run, what other Pokemon look like balls? And coming up, I have no access to fact checking while I'm doing these. Welcome back to SuperMON. This is the series where we grab a Pokemon, we give it 4 moves and 1 chance, and we see just how far through Pokemon Crystal we can make it. Sometimes we get all the way to the end and that Pokemon is a SuperMON, but a lot of the rest of the time we struggle to even make it to the Elite Four. Now, before we get into this run, I want to say a very, very big thank you to everyone who has joined the HM Friends and become a channel member. It really is truly appreciated, so thank you. I've held out for long enough, and you all know me. If I don't run the bear at least once every 6 months, then I will internally combust. So let us choose our moves for the Ursaring SuperMON challenge. And I think we're going to go for a very strong attacking move to get us started. We'll go for Strength. Strength is, of course, base 80 power, so that should hopefully be enough to get us through a lot of the Pokemon in this game when we combine it with our 130 in attack. We're going to go for Earthquake as well as a little bit of coverage. Now that does mean that with just Strength and Earthquake we have very strong physical moves for every single Pokemon barring Lance's Aerodactyl. And then we're going to go for a couple of punches just to try and see us through some of the trickier Pokemon that may come in front of us. So we'll go for Ice Punch, and we're also going to go for Fire Punch. Ice Punch is to give us that little bit of insurance at Lance, Fire Punch is to give us that little bit of insurance at Jazz, and between them we should have a very, very solid time. We have 25 HP at level 5 holding the berry as always, with Strength, Earthquake, Ice Punch and Fire Punch, 19 in attack, 14 in defense and the specials, and 12 in speed for our Ursaring. And so that means we can get our challenge underway. Now, Ursaring was a test Pokemon when we were trialling out the SuperMON format and we didn't really know how it was going to work, so this is going to be a little bit of redemption. That stream was our first SuperMON stream. We ended up going down to Will, I believe it was his Executor that knocked us out in that run, so I'm really hoping that we can get much, much further this time. We didn't have Strength in that run, we went for Slash, and I don't think playing around the crits is the right idea when you have just 1 chance. Now, I am hoping for good things from this Ursaring. It is one of my all-time favourite Pokemon. We know it can do well, but I've got to be honest, it is a little bit lacking compared to where I want it to be, and it's all because of that speed stat. Now, we saw in a recent time run, speed stats really can be the undoing of a lot of Pokemon, so we've probably got to rely on some RNG here and there to get the true potential of Ursaring through in this challenge, but I am very much up for it. And now I'm recording this on the day that the community post went up where I was talking about all the different things related to the channel, and I have come to the realization that a lot of the issue is that I was trying to create content that I thought other people would want to watch instead of creating content that I enjoy playing and I enjoy doing. And I think that has been reflected in recent times. Maybe I've sounded a little bit bored, a little bit not quite myself, but the SuperMON challenge and the new 4 moves challenge as well have both really just given me that spark back. I feel a lot happier than I have done in a very long time. And I've gone from, and I will be honest with you all, I've gone from creating content feeling like a chore, feeling a little bit like a 9-to-5 job, into wanting to record and getting excited and just having fun, letting myself be silly, not getting too bogged down in all the nitty-gritty that comes with content creation. Because I think if I'm having fun, then the chances are you might have fun as well. And if we are all just having a good time, we can forget about the nonsense that's going on in this world and just try and have a little bit of silliness with our favourite Pokemon. Then we can definitely have a good time all around. That's why I'm liking the live voiceovers as well, because I overthink things when I do pre-recorded voiceovers. Whereas if I just have the stream of consciousness going, first of all we get some very, very classic Squidgyisms, but also that's where the most fun lies. And I've never been one of those people to be bogged down in the numbers. I was trying, especially with the Unbound, to do damage calcs. I was trying to really just over-focus and become a little bit too bogged down by getting the best out of the Pokemon and min-maxing. And now I'm just like, let's just have fun. I know I'm not the quickest runner in the world. I know I'm not the best Pokemon player. I don't have the best instincts. But I think that's what makes these challenges a little bit more enjoyable for me. I have huge admiration for those people who can play the same Pokemon over and over again, who can do all the calculations, who can go and route perfectly. But it's not for me. I don't have that type of brain. I am that kind of person. I will just goof around. I was very much the class clown when I was in school, and I really haven't changed since. I enjoy making people smile, and I enjoy making a fool of myself, I'll be honest. I really do enjoy just getting a chuckle out of people, and hopefully improving their days. And we are now already in our first gym together. We got up to the level cap courtesy of Birdkeeper Abe. Of course, we didn't outspeed his Spearow, so he did a little bit of damage, but nothing that a Pokemon Center couldn't heal. We have full health for going into Falconer, though. He is our first gym leader together today. Flying type specialist leads with Pidgey. One shot on the Pidgey, probably going to be a two shot on the Pidgeotto, and we'll take some gust damage there. But what would we expect from the bear? Nothing less than that. Very, very easy first gym battle to get 5 points on the board. So we are not going home with nothing. We got through Rival 1, we got through Falconer. We are in very good times for our Ursaring at the moment. In case you've missed it, the SuperMON patch has had a little bit of an update there. So we no longer receive the egg, and we can now start climbing the Sprout Tower. And I alluded to it in the Eradicate video, I do believe, or at least I hope I did, if I didn't cut it out. But I am going to be trying to go back to that more long-form, chilled-out content that we had at the very beginning of the channel. I like having the big gaps in between the gym leaders where we see more of the game, where we see more of the challenge, and where we just have a chance to chat and relax and chill out, because especially with these where we're not against the clock, we don't have the time pressure. So I think it's very important actually to show more of the journey, because it isn't just about the gym leaders and the key battles. It's about starting to develop a bond with our Pokemon. And that's what I do every single time we do a SuperMON challenge, or any challenge run for that matter. I try to really get engrossed in the run. So I suspend my disbelief. I try to imagine that, yes, I am this trainer. We are real. This is all actually happening. Let's make friends with our Pokemon and let's create some memories. And that might sound a little bit weird, but that's how I've always played Pokemon. I've always gotten engrossed. And I think it's because it was a very, very comforting franchise going through some difficult times when I was younger, where it became a little bit of escapism, and I've taken that with me right the way through into my mid-30s now. Can't believe I've been playing Pokemon for nearly 25 years. Doesn't feel like it. And I'm still not bored of it now. Just shows the magic of this series. Now we are going to get ourselves a lovely little lantern and the key escape rope here at the very top of the Sprout Tower. We will receive the lantern from Elderly, and the escape rope is hiding in this corner. So let us now start making our way towards the Union Cave and Azalea Town. We will pick up the Paralysed Cure Berry. That could come in useful a little bit later on. And I'm trying to think of which trainers we should be battling en route to our next gym leader. We probably do need some speed stat experience at some point, so we will be doing a Poliwag beat-up session a little bit later on. But for now, we seem to be just fine with our speed. I reckon once we have access to the raft, then it'll be 20 minutes or so in the water getting up to the next level cap, getting as much speed stat experience as possible, because that really is our only bad stat. Everything else really is working for us in this one, because even though we don't really see Ursaring as a special attacker, 75 in special attack is higher than a lot of special attacking Pokemon's special attack value is, so we really are doing a lot better and have a lot better stats than it seems at first face value. It really just is that 55 in speed that is going to be problematic later on in the run. If we can outspeed Will's first Xatu, then I will feel much more confident about Ursaring being a SuperMON. But that is the big sticking point at the moment. I am terrified of the will battle, even at this early stage. I'm thinking ahead and I'm thinking will be the problem. Everyone else we have an answer for, hopefully, including even Karen. But that will battle, I'm terrified and dreading it, and we're not even close to it yet. And Union Cave is giving us the experience points we need in order to get up to the next level cap. We get it courtesy of Fire Breather Bill's first coughing, and those coughing are actually going to give us some fairly good defensive stat experience along with this Geodude. I really am getting into our stat experience quite a lot, because I didn't realise just how powerful it was. I knew it was good, I knew that it helped Pokemon, but it wasn't until I was in PK Hex comparing Pokemon with and without stat experience that I realised just how much of a difference it makes. Was it just me that didn't think it was that big of a difference and it was kind of like DVs and IVs in that sense? Or have I just been resting on my laurels with stat experience for a very, very long time now? Anyway, talking of defensive stat experience with coughing, we can get some more courtesy of our final grunt in Slowpoke Wells coughing. One Earthquake will get rid of it, and that gives us an extra points because we saved Kurt, getting us up to 6. That brings us on to our next gym together. This is Bugsy's Bug-type gym. I wonder actually if that's a bit of nominative determinism there, whether Bugsy was interested in bugs beforehand and just so happens to be called Bugsy. Maybe it's a nickname. Maybe Bugsy isn't Bugsy's real name after all. Or maybe it was having the name Bugsy that got Bugsy interested in bugs. I have no idea, but it would be nice to theory craft. We get through all of the gym trainers now here in this gym. We should be able to one-shot this Paris, and Paris is even slower than us, so we have no risk of being statused, and we can take Bugsy on. Second gym leader, Bug-type specialist, leads with Metapod. One shot on the Metapod, here comes Kakuna, there goes Kakuna, and it should two-shot this Scyther. Fury Cutter dealing a whole 10 HP of damage there in the end. Hive Badge acquired, getting up to 9 points on the board, and we have another rival battle in just a moment. We are going to do a very quick PP heal here now, and we will take him on. Let's see, we could have a disaster at the Ghastly, we never know, or hopefully we'll outspeed and we'll knock it out in just a single hit. We will strength on the Zubat, get rid of it straight away, and then Croconaw is bulkier than you would expect, so it is a two-shot on the Croconaw, but yet again, the rival's a little bit pathetic in this one so far, but that does now mean we can start making our way through the forest once more. We will reunite the bird with its human as we always do, and we mustn't forget to say hello to the green headman staring at the tree. Very important we say hello to him. We're not running Headbutt in this run, so he's probably going to be grumpy with us, but I don't know, would he be grumpier if we're running Headbutt and we don't get his help for it? I really, really don't know. He's just a very, very enigmatic guy. Hello, green-haired man. Let us now pick up the 2 ether in here as well. We'll probably use those in the rocket section to save a little bit of effort with healing, and we will beat up a bird because we have run out of rappel steps and I cannot be bothered sticking on another rappel. But that does now bring us to Goldenrod City, where the first thing we do, of course, is grab the bike. That lets us move in double quick time. I love the bike in this game. It really assists my movement to the point where I can't really move without the bike as well as I can move with the bike these days, which does seem a little bit counterintuitive, but I suppose it's just the amount of experience we've had cycling. I dread to think just how many steps we've done on the bike throughout the course of our challenges together. We're probably looking at the tens of thousands, if not the hundreds of thousands by this point. I wish actually I had been tracking things like that since the very beginning, so I could pull out a figure saying, yes, we've done 1 million of this in the time we've done challenge runs together. We've probably actually done well over 1 million HP of damage to enemy Pokemon and taken well over 1 million HP of damage back throughout the course of our 3 and a bit years doing challenges together. We are also now nearly at the level cap, so we might be able to do Whitney before we go north for the first time. So we shall grab ourselves the rental Abra so that we can teleport back to the Pokemon centres, and we'll make our way into our next gym together. This is, of course, Whitney's normal type gym. She is a normal type specialist, much like us, but she's not a good normal type specialist because she doesn't have a bear. I am really annoyed that they didn't give any key trainer the Ursaring in this generation. It is the best Pokemon they have ever added in all of Pokemon, and it is such a shame we had to wait till Scarlet and Violet in order to see the bear on a proper party. So this is revenge for all of those bears that are in other games that haven't even been shown. There we go, level 25 is our next level cap, 14 points. Whitney successfully beaten up. Let's get out of here. Now we've done a very quick loop-de-loop of the north of Goldenrod already, but we have now been caught by Juggler Irwin. He is one of my least favourite spinners because he's absolutely pointless. What is the sense in battling 4 Voltorb of varying levels, none of which has anything really to attack us? He's just there as a bit of a troll, isn't he? He's like the 6 Magikarp guy. In fact, I'm struggling to remember where the 6 Magikarp guy is in this game. Is he on Route 13 near Lavender Town and Fuchsia City? Could somebody please fact check that? I can't do it, I'm mid-run, doing a live voiceover. I wish I could fact check myself here, but as we know, with the amount of mistakes I put in my live voiceovers, all completely by accident, I have no access to fact checking while I'm doing these. While we were in the national park, by the way, we did pick up the Quick Claw, and that's going to come in very useful for this middle part of the challenge, especially against a trainer like Morty, because I think having the Quick Claw is going to give us slightly better odds of getting through his battle versus having the Minceberry. I could be wrong and we could end up taking a reset, but that is my gut instinct. Now, to get ourselves up to the level cap, we will take on the Kimono Girls. How much do we do against the Umbreon? Oh, bloody hell, that's a lot of damage for the Umbreon. I'm feeling very happy about the damage output there. I know we've just got the badge boost for normal type moves from Whitney, but that was still a lot of damage considering all of Umbreon's bulk. Now we are at the level cap, we will just take on this Jolteon as well to get the full set completed. Get ourselves the raft, because that way I will not forget the Kimono Girls. The amount of times actually in our recent time challenges where I've completely forgotten about the Kimono Girls is ludicrous. I don't know what's happening with me there, I feel like I've got a memory like a sieve. I might have a memory like a sieve, but I haven't forgotten what this rival has. He leads with a very pesky Haunter. Hopefully we will outspeed this thing and we'll be able to get rid of it before he swears at us. Magnemite's next, we've got Earthquake, it's quite super effective. We'll swap to Strength for the Zubat, we'll knock it out in one hit. And what about the Croconaw? Close, but no banana to the one-shot there. I reckon that was a range, you know, and we just low-rolled, but I'm not going to complain either way. That was a very, very nice and simple Rival 3. That's one of the beauties of running a strong normal type. Even if you don't have access to return, you can pretty much guarantee that the rival is going to be no problem. I tell you who might end up being a problem though, our very, very dear friend Morty. Now you may notice we're on 92 HP there, and if my maths is correct, that is a multiple of 4. So we're actually going to stick in a HP up here to get us off the multiple of 4. And what that means is that Morty is now unable to 4-shot us with 4 turns of Curse. It's going to take 5 turns of Curse instead, because of course Curse takes off a quarter of your health. And with 92 being a multiple of 4, that just gives us an extra turn. And with Earthquake back up to maximum PP, we can engage Morty in battle. He is our 4th gym leader together today, a dual Ghost and Poison type spectacular leader, led with Ghastly that went down. We outspeed Haunter number 1, and we are on to the Gengar. We have been sent to sleep, and he has started eating our dreams. It was a very short sleep though, so we can move on to the last Haunter. Spites didn't affect us, and we have defeated Morty. So really, that was a little bit riskier than it could otherwise have been, but that does mean we can save the Minceberry for Chuck. And I think holding on to the Minceberry could be the right play for Chuck. We've got quite some way until we get to Chuck though, plenty of stuff to do. And now as we're going around getting some more levels in preparation for our gym battle, I want to talk about the difference in mindset that goes into SuperMON versus our time challenges. In SuperMON it's a lot slower and a lot more calculated, we try and go for the best possible outcome and give us the best chance of survival. Whereas in one of our time challenges, we are going risky and making very, very educated gambles to try and get the luck we need to get through a little bit quicker than we otherwise need to in these runs. I'm really enjoying playing with the two different mindsets, because we take a Pokemon like Ursaring, and we know the routing for its timed run inside out by this point. It is very much go like the clappers, minimum battles where you can, quick claw procs will help you get through a little bit easier, hidden power rock for the 4 times super effective against the Charizard, and just hope you get the luck at red. Whereas in this challenge, I'm thinking, do I want to do Chuck next? Do I want to save him until later? Because if we save him till later, we have a chance of potentially one-shotting his Primeape and his Poliwrath, which means we won't go down. So shall we do Pryce next? Shall we take on Jasmine? What shall we do and where shall we go? And I'm really, really liking having to put all of these puzzle pieces together in a completely different way. And I think I've mentioned it before together here on the channel, but I am really a puzzle game player over any other type of game. It's just a happy little accident that I enjoy Pokemon, really. And having this game be treated more like a puzzle than anything else really does tickle my brain in just the right way. It makes me very happy when we find the solutions to the questions that we are posing ourselves, because we're playing this game in a way that it really wasn't intended to be played. And part of the puzzle pieces for this one is taking on the Gyarados now. We are still nowhere near our next level cap, and I reckon we should be able to survive even a couple of thrashes from the Gyarados. That gets us up to level 28, and it also does open up Mahogany Underground to go through with the Rockets. And while we're in the neighbourhood, we might as well take them on and probably actually end up taking on Pryce and Jazz, like we have in many recent SuperMON runs, before we take on Chuck. And in fact, that is exactly what we've ended up doing. We did get to the level caps fairly soon into the Rocket section, but we are still gaining plenty of stat experience to get us a little bit further through this challenge. But this is the last battle here, and that last Electro did become a bomb. It did go boom, but we didn't even get close to being knocked out. That means that we are up to 21 points, courtesy of Lance and his big bath plug there. We can get out of here, we can do a quick heal, and we'll go straight into our next gym together. This is Pryce's Ice-type gym, and Pryce is usually a little bit pathetic in these runs, but you never know, he could surprise us all. He does have the opportunity to at least freeze us with Blizzard, and if we get locked into a being frozen, then we will have a very, very bad time overall. If we could stop hitting ourselves in confusion, that would be glorious. Goodness me, Border Douglas, he's one of the peskiest of all the gym trainers. Supersonic doesn't seem like a good move in theory, and in fact we would probably always never have it on our learn set. But if you end up being confused, the RNG really can have it out for you. Let's take on Pryce now. He is our next gym leader together. He is an Ice-type specialist, led with Seal. Seal went down in 1. It's going to be a 2-shot on the Dugong. No, it's not. It's going to be a 1-shot. I'm being made out to be a liar. Let us go for Fire Punch here on the Piloswine. We burnt it. Hopefully we can avoid a healing loop here, save a little bit of time and energy, and we have obtained the Glacier Badge, getting us up to 24 points, and we have a new level cap of 35. And now, do you ever have one of those days where you end up being caught up in your own head, overthinking things over and over again, to the point where nothing really is making too much sense with what you're thinking, but you're just stressing out over all the little things? That's how I've been the last couple of days when recording these runs. In fact, it is a day later after the Glacier Badge split there, and I've had a little bit of a pep talk with some friends, and I'm feeling much better about everything and myself once more, because yesterday, I've got to be honest, I was feeling the need to apologise to everyone for trying new things with the content and to try and diversify a little bit, but I am now much, much more level-headed and much fresher with how I'm feeling. I've always been very open about my struggles here on this channel as well, or at least I've tried to be. And one of the things I lack in very, very great abundance is self-confidence and self-belief. I genuinely never thought I would get more than about 3 views on a video, so I was totally unprepared for when I started getting even 3 figures worth of views, let alone the 4 figures we get on a lot of our videos now. So it does really take it out of me in some ways, but I'm very, very grateful for all of you, and I hope in the next 12 months or so we'll be in a place with all of our challenges where we're all happy with what we're doing, because that's the main thing. If we can all be happy, we don't have to like feign excitement or anything, or go all over the top and shouty like I've definitely been guilty of in recent times. Especially about 12 months ago, I was guilty of getting very, very over shouty in the videos. I think if we can all just naturally have fun and take these challenges for what they are, we're all going to have a very, very good time going forwards. And I'm purposely saying this in the Ursaring video because Ursaring is one of my comfort runs, let's be honest here. I could play Ursaring day in, day out. I'm not going to because that would be silly, it would burn me out. And also I think you'd all get sick of me extolling the virtues of the bear over and over again. But saying all these things on a Pokemon where I am in my elements, as it were, it definitely does help out. And now we have made it to the top of the lighthouse where Jasmine is going to ask us to get the secret potion. I'm sure she's wanting to use it on her Steelix. We will oblige in a moment, but we've got better things to do. We are first of all going to grab a bunch of vitamins. We've just done the vitamin shop. We have been able to afford a grand total of 5 carbos, 2 calcium and 3 protein, including one we picked up from the rocket section. I'll put them in. I'm going to save you from the flashing though. And that is the vitamins now all in our Ursaring. I decided to do the vitamin shop before doing any kind of Poliwag grinding, because this way we are making the most of our stat experience. If we can artificially raise it to the cap first and then start taking on Poliwag, we are much, much better prepared in order to do a little bit more grinding for the stat experience. We're not letting it go to waste then. Now, we didn't do too many Poliwag to get us started, just enough to get us up to Jasmine's level cap, because that's who we're going to be facing next. I did also pick up the secret potion from Cianwood City, and that means we can leave here and take her on. I don't think we're going to have any issues at Jasmine. We rarely do when we run the bear. And we are at level 35, so we're actually a little bit higher level than quite often when we take her on. This is Jasmine. She is our 6th gym leader together. Steel type specialist, leads with Magnemite. Magnemite has no special defense, so we'll get rid of it with Fire Punch. And now I reckon an Earthquake to get us started with the Steelix. Finish us off with a Fire Punch, and we avoid the healing loop, and we defeat Jasmine to obtain the mineral badge, get our level cap up to 40, and get 27 points. And we're now back in Poliwag Pond here in Ecruteak City. I really do want to try and get our speed as high as possible, so I'm going to be doing the Poliwag grind for quite some time. You never know, we might even get it all the way up to level 40. This is well within the rules of the challenge as well. We have to make the most of everything we have available to us, and there's nothing that says we can't grind against the same set of 2 wild Pokemon for potentially a very long time in order to make a little bit of the later game slightly easier. We're out of moves again. Into the Pokemon Center we go. We'll beat up another set of 25. Oh! Oh! Well, that's not what I was expecting. I think I was recording that. When did we get the Pokerus? Must have been in that last set of 25 I was doing. I was just waffling to myself, going about my day, and there, we've got the Pokerus. I think we might be at an advantage now. And after a very long grind, including getting the Pokerus, we have made it to level 40. We now have a grand total of 40,545 stat experience in our speed stat, so hopefully that will make a huge difference later on in this challenge. Reaching the next level cap does mean we are now ready for our next gym, And in case you haven't seen us get the Pokerus together here on the channel before, it is perfectly within the rules to be able to get the Pokerus. If it happens, it happens, and we do have a little bit of an advantage, so it is going to work in Ursaring's favour. It's probably actually been a couple of years since we had the Pokerus. The last one I can remember was Sandslash. There might have been another in between those, but it has definitely been a very, very long time. So that does just mean we are going to be gaining double stat experience for the rest of this challenge, and you never know, that could tip the balance in Ursaring's favour. And now we're holding on to the Minceberry, and we will engage Chuck in battle. He is our 7th gym leader today. He is a fighting type specialist who leads with Primeape. One shot on the Primeape. How about the Poliwrath? Would you look at that? Another one shot. Absolutely perfect there from our Ursaring. We took the safe route to get up to 30 points, and that does now mean we have a radio tower in play. As I mentioned earlier in this run, it is all about the safety strats when we're doing the SuperMON challenge. It doesn't matter how we get to the end, it is just about getting as far as we can in the safest way possible. Now, we've been through the ice path and come back all the way to Goldenrod, and we find ourselves in front of the middle rockets here in the radio tower. This is sort of the midway point of the challenge, maybe just slightly before, but I am really happy with the Pokerus. I'm just looking at our stat experience climb and climb and climb, and I cannot wait now until after we've gotten Clair's badge, where we will be able to see just how much our stats increase by, because we have so much more stat experience under our belt now. Because you've got to think, we have not leveled up since well before Cyanwood Gym, so that is an awful lot of Pokemon we have knocked out, and that is all going to contribute to even higher stats once we get to battling those Pokemon. We have outsped the rival's Golbat there, which is a very good sign. We one-shot the Magnemite. We outspeed the Horn, so we get rid of it with Earthquake. We even outspeed the Sneasel without the Quick Claw. Blimmin' heck. And then 2-shot, do we reckon, on the Feraligatr? Yeah, 2-shot on the Feraligatr to finish us off. And we have defeated the rival for a 4th time. Defeating the rival for the 4th time got us up to 32 points. And now defeating this executive will get us all the way up to 33. We'll be a third of the way through the points for this challenge. And it is going to be 3 simple one-shots to finish off Team Rocket once and for all. They leave, the director comes back just in time for everything to be clear. He does award us the clear bell and our 33rd point. And we also get a very important item from Marie here. We get the pink bow. We are going to immediately change our held item to the pink bow. And I think because we've had the Pokerus, we will not need to consider the Quick Claw for at least quite some time. Now, we must remember to get the radio card, otherwise our Kanto section will be all kinds of messed up. So now that we have the radio card, we will leave and we will enter into Clair's gym together. Now, Clair is a dragon type specialist. This trainer here, by the way, is a really good indication of how well we'll do against the Dragonair. With a physical move, we're able to nearly one-shot that Seadra, so that gives me very good hope that Strength will in fact one-shot the Dragonair. We will get another indication in just a moment when we take on one of the other cool trainers. We're one-shotting the 36 Seadra, that is very good to see. Now, this cool trainer Mike, he has the exact same level Dragonair as Clair, but it does have slightly lower DVs. Once again, we did one-shot though, so I'm feeling pretty positive about this gym. I don't think we have any reason to worry at all about getting past Clair. We get through both of these Dragonair at Lola, and we will engage Clair in battle. She is our final Jotonian gym leader. Dragon type specialist leads with Dragonair. One shot on the first one, but it was a crit. Second one goes down to a regular hit, as does the third one. Now for the Kingdra, what should we do? Probably an Earthquake turn 1 as she goes for Surf. She is healing looping, but that is fine because we can knock it out with 2 further strengths and we can get through her. Of course, we don't get her badge just yet though. We have that horrible, horrible man in between us and Clair's badge, and I cannot wait to beat him up and take his lunch money again. Look at his smug face there. Goodbye, Dragonair. You are not going to be missed. Anyway, I'm sure I'll eventually forgive Cool Trainer Darren, not in any recent time coming up though. Instead, we will now go into the Dragon's Den and we'll answer the same survey we just did in the radio tower with 11212, and that will trigger Claire to come into the Dragon's Den, where she will eventually and finally give us our next badge, the Rising badge, getting us up to 36 points as well, and we now have a level cap of 42. And now we have made it on to Fake Victory Road routes 26 and 27, and I'm very curious to see just how much our speed stat is going to increase by when we do level up. So we're at 91 now, 155 in attack, and we go up to 95 with 162 in attack just from that one level up. That is what the Pokerus combined with a little bit of stat experience training can do. You will get huge jumps in the stats, which is why we did all of that Poliwag training. An increase of 4 in speed might not seem like too much at face value, but that is now going to keep on increasing the more we level up. And now we have gone through the badge check and we find ourselves here in proper Victory Road. It is a little bit barren and we cannot pick up that HP up this time. Well, we can, but there'd be no use in having it. Because we have the Pokerus, we now have more HP, stat experience, than we can use with our vitamins. So we are going to be going in completely unprotected for Karen. And it does feel, you know, like the rival is going in completely unprotected against our bear here. There is absolutely nothing he can do with any of his Pokemon. Kadabra comes out, we'll one-shot it with Strength, and we're probably still going to two-shot the Feraligatr. But instead, we will critical hit. Damageless Rival 5 is what we like to see. Let's do a cursory heal here now at the Pokemon Center here at the League. We will buy our 4 full restores as we always will. And we'll now take a look at our stats and do predictions for the League. And we are shaping up like this. We are level 42 with 158 HP, holding the Pink Bow with our 4 moves: Strength, Ice Punch, Earthquake and Fire Punch. 148 in attack, 101 in defenses and the specials, and 87 in speed. Now, in terms of the League, we will, with our badge boost, outspeed at least Will's first Xatu, which gives me good hope there. Then, hopefully, we'll outspeed the Jinx as well, and just have a fairly simple battle, because we've got enough to brute force everyone else. Koga, I think, should be easy. Maybe the Crobat could stall us, but we'll hold on to a PlayStation Network Cureberry. Bruno is a little bit of a question mark. We can Earthquake the Hitmontop if it doesn't go down in one. We should be fine against the other Hitmons, but then Machamp could cross-shot crit and end the run. Karen, especially without the HP up, is a giant question mark. And then I think we will be fine for Lance. So let's now enter into the League and take on our first League member. So this is, of course, where we went down on the streamed run of Ursaring. Let's see if we can get a new PB for Ursaring. We lead, or he leads rather, with Xatu. We knock it out in one shot. We outspeed the Jinx and we knock her out as well. Here comes Executor. We're probably going to end up being Leech Seeded here, which isn't great. Reflect isn't fantastic either, but we will deal with it. We will start using Strength against this Slowbro. I reckon we are going to be playing for a crit, and that's exactly what happens. The Reflect has faded. We outspeed the second Xatu. He hasn't confused us, and he is healing looping. So we are getting further than we did in our last attempt. We are through Will and we can move on to Koga. So in preparation for Koga, we have healed up and we are holding on to the Poison Cure Berry. Let's see if that is enough to see us through. He leads with Ariados. We don't one-shot it, goodness me, but we do get rid of it in our second turn rather. And it's a one-shot on the Venomoth. Very good to see there. Out comes the Fortress. We'll Fire Punch it. We know that we can one-shot that Fortress. Earthquake's probably our best move against the Muck, but he has minimised. We'll use the Strength to finish it off, and now for the last Pokemon, we have Crobat. He's used Double Team, and he's going into Wing Attack. As long as our next Ice Punch connects, we will knock it out just like that, and we are through Koga and can move on to Bruno. We are taking no chances at all here at Bruno. We've candied up to 46, and we are holding back onto the Pink Bow. He leads with Hitmontop. We do one-shot it, goodness me. That means we are guaranteed to one-shot the Hitmonlee, and probably guaranteed to one-shot the Hitmonchan as well. That brings us on to the Machamp though. And I reckon we could fish for a freeze, maybe. Earthquake's not going to do much. I don't think Fire Punch will, or we can just double strength and hope for the best. He's gone for Foresight. Why are you Foresighting, mate? Where is the need for Foresight? You have just thrown that battle. I'm nearly throwing this battle. I misclicked there on Strength instead of Ice Punch. I'm not going to whinge though. Bruno through. That gets us our new level cap of 47, which we will immediately get to, and we are almost ready for Karen. This could be the end of the run, you know. The more I think about it, the more I think Karen could have the key to victory herself. It all depends on the RNG. This is a very RNG dependent battle. If it goes our way, we win. If it doesn't go our way, we will lose. I have a feeling, you know, we are on the losing side of the RNG. Because look at all these times we are missing. I think if we get through the Gengar, we have a chance. But we've missed. She's going to go for Destiny Bond. And the run is over. That is a little bit brutal, isn't it? But that is the story of our Ursaring. It didn't quite have what we needed to get through Karen. However, we did make it past all of our Johtonian gym leaders. We have a new PB with Ursaring. Let's take a look at the leaderboard, shall we? Oh, now this one hurts. We are in 7th place, just ahead of Macago and just behind. Good old ride on there for our SuperMON leaderboard. The luck was not there on the day for Ursaring, and the nature of this challenge means if you are relying on any RNG, it is going to be a coin toss, or several coin tosses in the case of Karen, for getting through the battle. But I really hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, make sure to leave a like. If you've got any feedback, leave it in the comments down below. Subscribe if you want to see more videos just like this. And of course, if you want to see them early, you can always join the channel membership and become a HM friend. But for now, I will say thank you all so much for watching. I will catch you all very, very soon.